Hello, my dear friends. Today, we're going to talk about a very surprising topic. So, from our face or appearances will be able to see some signs about our liver issues, potential problems, which includes even liver cancer, or the most serious would be the liver cancer and also other liver diseases. I heard that liver disease in many countries and areas are quite common. There are very high percentage of people got liver disease. So Joyce and Christine, you heard of that? Yeah. So we searched online. The most highly epidemic disease is hepatitis B. So the most of them in south of Sahara, in those African countries where maybe the hygiene or the cleanliness are not the best. And the second highest area and country is 5 to 10%. So it's in like China and Hong Kong, that part of Asia. And next is Mongolia. And next would be North America, West Europe, North Europe, and Australia are relatively lower. It's actually hepatitis B occurs like on less than 1% of the people. And chronic hepatitis diseases, they mostly occur in about 11 countries like Brazil and China and India. Yeah. So because it's a epidemic disease, and so in those countries, there actually happens more often, and some other Asian countries, mostly in Asia and Africa and South America, Middle and South America. Now, medical science is quite developed, so the death rate for liver disease is not very high. However, ever since you get a liver disease, it is very hard to get rid of it. It will always, bother you. Those who eventually got liver cancer or cirrhosis, it's very, very painful. And up till now, we still haven't have a very effective painkiller to kill the pain of that. And for those, hepatocirrhosis people, they would also have a lot of water in the liver, so it's called a liver ascites, and so it's very the patient would be extremely suffering, and of course their family would also feel very, very sad, because when you see your loved ones are suffering from that, you would feel a lot of pain. So we just need to share a little bit of knowledge about that. It depends on where you live. So I will disclose some secrets. In my childhood, I was sick. When I start to learn and cultivate, the most difficult part and the most painful part is not being able to find a good teacher. But I was very I'm still very, very lucky. My teacher was very good. At that time, I didn't know he was so good, but as I grew up and when I see so many people benefit from these practices, I now realize how wonderful they are. They're of extremely high virtues, and they will teach me step by step and without any reservations. And well, I actually don't know if they have had any reservations, but we have already benefited tremendously. I haven't taught everything that I have, but already there are lots of people benefited, like countless people benefited. So for the cardiovascular diseases, I have already disclosed 3 secrets about the sign of death. Now, for the liver disease, I will also disclose the secret. So, what will appear on our body? So, let's start from the face. So, let's look at the diagram of the physiognomy. So, the first, if you look at when we see at the outer part of the eyebrow, let's say when it close to the nose, it should be the inner side, and when it's close to the contour, then it's the liver. So the liver also under the eyes until about the cheekbone area, it's the liver area. And next, we talked about our nose. Do you still remember where is the heart area? It's in between the eyes on the nose. Yeah. So that indicates the heart area. So under the heart area, you can touch your nose. There's a little bit bulging on the nose. You can feel half of the nose has heart bones. At the end of the heart bones, in the middle of the nose, and that is the liver area. That also corresponds to the liver. So the third part is our eyes. According to my impression, sometimes I get confused, but just in my impression, according to a traditional Chinese doctor, liver actually manifests in our eyes. When liver has any issues, there will be manifestations on our eyes. So when there are, what will happen in these areas, then it tells us that there are problems with the liver. Let's look at some pictures, then we will be very easily see very clearly. So according to the medical doctors, they call it liver marks in some areas or the whole face. If there are some brown marks, this is mostly under the eyes and the cheekbones all the way to the nose. So we mentioned that this area is the liver area, and even on the nose, we actually didn't have that on the previous picture. On this picture, on the liver area on the nose, look carefully. The nose tip, it feels like swelling, and the color, Joy said, it definitely doesn't look very normal. What color do you think, Grandmaster says? a little bit brownish, blackish, or bluish. So at least it is not the same as the color of the other part of the face, and very gloomy. And also the nose tip is swelling. And inside, well, on the nose tip, you can almost see the blue veins. Some blue veins and some red veins. It's very dangerous to have these blue veins and red veins on the nose tip. If you have already downloaded the physiognomy diagram, what the nose tip indicates. Oh, this is the spleen and stomach part. So we're talking about liver. How come it's the liver? We're talking about liver. How come it is the stomach and the spleen area shows something? Well, it's all the digestion system. When the liver has some problem, would your stomach and spleen have problem? So if you have hepatitis, would your stomach and spleen be very healthy? So the two ladies said, no, not usually. So Grandmaster said, if these days you eat something very dry, maybe hot pot and fried chickens, and so what might grow on your face? So acne, they said. And Grandmaster said, yeah, not only acne, but some sensitive people might already have some light marks. So this shows that dryness and a lot of fire in the liver. So what would it cause? It will cause fight. Yeah. So when there was no liver fire, you just spend some money. Maybe they won't have a fire. But when the liver fire is a lot, then maybe the president of a country thinks, no, money is no use. I just want to release that anger. And so they will fight and have maybe a war. And then the eyes, when the fire is too much in the liver, it's not the eyes will be bright, but the eyes actually becomes blurry. And so when you see things, you cannot see very clearly. And would your mind be clear? No. Just like your eyes would be very unclear and blurry, and so would be very emotional. And so it's not going to affect spleen and stomach only, but also your heart and the whole body. And therefore, liver, this organ, actually reaches up to the top of our head and also goes down. It actually reaches so it has connections with any part of the body, maybe the brain and heart and any part of the body. So some people call it's the chemical factory of the body. And so directly, it will directly affect the stomach and the spleen. So on the picture, the second picture, on the nose tip, there's the color of the illness. Maybe this on the nose tip, it didn't indicate stomach disease, but liver disease, even though it's on the nose tip, which is the stomach area. Let's look at this picture. What have you seen? Oh, Christine said both sides of the nose are yellowish, and Joy said there are marks on the nose, and also on the cheekbone there are also some marks. Yeah. So on the nose, the liver area and the stomach and spleen area, they all have marks. Yeah, the picture is not very clear. Yeah, Grandmaster says, well, actually, I can see clearer on my iPad. Or if you look at this picture clearer on the phone, on the liver area on the nose, there's some yellowish, whitish dot, and the whole nose is dark, as is gloomy, and on the liver area there's a white dot, and the whole nose is gloomy and has dark marks. This indicates liver and digestion problem. So let's continue to see. Oh, this is very clear, very typical. Under the eyes, on the cheekbone, around the cheekbone, and on the sides of the nose, there are lots of marks. And right on the liver area, there are marks and patches. So on the nose, the liver corresponding area, there are patches, and under the eyes, around the cheekbone, there are a lot of patches and brownish marks. So this is the liver mark. This is the real liver mark. So when we are looking at the pictures now, we can learn. So this is a picture of a patient. The outside of the eyes, it's swelling and reddish and blue and blackish and brownish marks. This is very obvious liver problem. So our online friends, if you learn to look at these signs, look carefully at the pictures. I cannot mark a circle. But if you mark a circle there, our online friends will see even more clearly. So the reddish marks close to the eye, you can mark there, maybe draw a circle there. And under the cheekbone, there's a very visible dark dot. I can only call it a terrifying dot. So if you draw the circle, you can draw the circle around both of them. At the lower, on the bottom of this circle, that blackish dot is even more dangerous. So before the ears, there's some brownish and also swelling part. That is actually also connected to kidney. So these are all caused by the liver problem. When we're looking at these, we don't have to rush. We can look carefully. Maybe our online friends are worried about yourselves, and have you prepared a mirror to look at yourself? Or you can use a cell phone. Under very bright light, you can take a picture of yourself from the front and also both sides. So then you can see very clearly your face. You can, you'll take your time, then you'll learn well. At this time, if you have questions, then you can raise questions. I'm not in a rush, so you take your time and learn it. Right now, this picture that you can see, this lady on her cheekbone, right above the cheekbone, you can see there are yellowish, brownish dots and marks, and some of them are reddish. The red is not a very healthy red. And these marks and patches actually indicates unhealthy state. And you look at her skin. She doesn't have a lot of wrinkles. She probably is in her 20s, and now she already has these marks. This actually indicates that she really got liver disease very early. Oh, this is also very obvious. An online friend said, oh, that actually should indicate kidney. How come it's also liver? Well, you need to learn comprehensively because liver will connect to everything. It's like a media in the middle. So whatever we eat or drink needs liver to dissolve. The nutrition will send to blood and muscle and maybe the brain. So liver connects to all of our organs and our body. So when liver has problem, it will very easily cause the gallbladder to have problem. Well, gallbladder, some people say gallbladder is so small, so we can ignore it and we could just have a surgery to remove it. And then next is stomach and spleen. They're all in this digestion system. When they have problems, then there will be troubles. And it also directly connects to the kidney. So a lot of area, just like the nose tip. On the physiognomy diagram, a tip of the nose is the spleen, and the side of the nose is stomach. How come this indicates liver problem? Because liver can trigger a lot of problems, and it connects to many different organs. So it's actually connected with many different organs. So Christine said a lot of hepatitis patients, they have a bleeding in their digestion system. Maybe it causes the stomach bleeding or will spit blood. So when the liver is damaged, then the connecting organs will also be damaged. When we talked about, we actually discussed before, if the clotting has problem, and if somebody cough and then the bleeding could not stop, it actually the problem is rooted from the liver. If the liver, maybe the liver is not working or not working properly, and then the blood cannot not clot. And so, for housewives, if you cut your hand, it's very normal. So maybe you just put some bandage, or maybe put some ashes on it, and then it will be fine. The coagulation is very good, then it's fine. But some people, their blood will not stop bleeding, and then it's because of the blood coagulation is not very good. And so this clot factor is actually caused or generated by the liver. So that's why liver is connected to many different organs. So a lot of our online friends actually raised very good questions. So this is a good way of learning. And Joy said another online friend said his nose tip is always red. Is it because the stomach, or it is the spleen or the liver? Actually, Grandmaster said it's all connected. If you take pictures of your face, maybe everything looks good. Only the nose tip is red. We can understand it is only the spleen issue, maybe especially there's dampness in the spleen. If on the nose, sometimes we call it brandy nose. Well, brandy nose or drunken nose is actually they have those agonies, and yeah, so the skin, yeah, it's very rough. Rosacea, yeah. Oh, this is actually not acne rosacea. This is a liver problem. If it is only a reddish nose tip, it's like a brandy nose, and the skin is not very smooth. It's all, a lot of times it is the stomach and spleen issues. So you need to adjust your stomach and spleen. Well, I'm talking more and more. There are like lots of very critical things hidden inside. Yeah, I'll talk later. Let's continue. Let's continue to look at the next one. These marks are liver marks. So you can look at the whole facial color. It's kind of yellowish and brownish. This first, the whole face is yellowish and brownish, and also the dots and marks, and they're under the eyes all the way to the tendon, as if there's a corridor. Like the dots are all over the corridor, and in addition to the whole corridor, and there are some very visible big ones. Yeah, so it actually goes all the way to the temple, which is the liver area. Yeah. Now look at this new picture. Can we enlarge the picture? So our online friends, you need to learn the details. Don't just look roughly, because otherwise you might judge wrong. So this lady's cheekbone under the eyes, there's some brownish and blackish patches, and the darker, this color is even darker. The darker the color, the more serious the problem. So our online friends, please pay attention. This lady's eyes and eyebrows, at the end of the eyes and eyebrows, there's a mark, a pattern actually. It's like a worm. That's not a good pattern. From the end of the eyebrow to the outer corner of the eyes, you can see that there's a line. Yeah, that pattern. That is not good at all. And including the cheekbone. Yeah, under the cheekbone, there are also some bluish veins, and plus the upper reddish marks and all these dark brown marks, and also it feels kind of swelling. So when all these information put together, her liver is most likely to have problem. Are you watching? Don't panic. Even if you see that you also have similar problem, I want to help you to release these issues. And the most dangerous is that you don't know, and so you only when you have already received the final diagnosed from the doctor, oh, this is already the liver cancer at the last stage. And in the Taiwan last time, yeah, so that person's one of the number is like 30 times as much or 60 times as much as normal, and maybe that's a level 3 or level 4 cirrhosis. And maybe that's a liver cancer. And the doctor, maybe he will not just give you an answer, just tell you, oh, your SGOT or SGPT is, way above normal. And so when you go to the hospital and then, or the lab, and then you get this diagnosis, it might be too late. So we hope that you can prevent earlier, and not just prevent, and even we can change it. So tomorrow we will continue to talk about this topic to see how to solve the problem. So today we will first learn how to find problem, or how to notice that there are problems. And look at this one. Right on the liver area, there's a very dark line, and also the nose tip color is very kind of like blanched, a whitish color, and the nose tip is swelling. And so maybe when your nose tip is swelling, your corresponding organs will be swelling. And also in between the eyes, there's a dented hole. So his heart is also having problem. This face is showing a very worrying sign. And this man, the picture of this man, his overall appearance, the color of his face is more brownish, very ugly brown. Sometimes the yellow color, you don't feel uncomfortable. It's kind of like even yellowish, but also pinkish. But this is very dark yellow. And inside his sclera, it is not very clear. There's some brownish, yellowish dots, and his pupil is also brownish, and so his whole face is brown. His eyebrow is very, at the end of the eyebrow is also very dark. Did you notice his nose? The liver area is very clearly dark yellow, and the most serious part, why his nostrils feel so uncomfortable. Oh, Christine said it feels like he has bleeding nose. So maybe when a facial, fortune teller may say, "Oh, we don't need to. You don't need to pay for reading your face. Well, I'll just read it for you." And the doctor might say, "Okay, you can just go back and rest." The most terrible thing is the color of one part of the face is very dark. One terrible part would be the nostril when it's very dark colored. And this one, this might be a lady, very white skin, very young. From around the nose, we can see that this person might be younger than 20. But on the side of the nose, so first of all, the nose tip is very red. And also the nostril under, in between the nose and the lips, there seems to be like they look like eczemas, and these all gives information. Also, on one side of the nose, there are two dark dots. And on the nose tip, there's a eminent part. It's so this part, it's like a swelling part. So the corresponding organ. Also on this picture, I see that her liver area on the nose, there's a dot. So either the liver or spleen or stomach, like among three of them, there must be a tumor in either one of them. So this is quite dangerous. So on this nose, you can on this picture you can see the whole face is kind of darkish yellow, and the nose tip you can see the poles, but it's not like it's not the acne, but you can see those dots that shows the poles, and in the middle of left side of the nose, there's a blackish brownish mark, and the nose tip is like white. There's a white part and the red part. I seriously suspect that this person has liver issue. From the picture, we can see that this person is also in his or her 20s, very young. And look at this picture. Oh, this nose is really red and swelling. When you hear, oh, red and swelling, you don't feel very serious, but actually when the red and swelling is on the nose tip, it's actually problematic. So is this like a brandy nose or no? It's those brandy nose, they have, they're like pretty rough and not smooth. So this one, either she has very serious stomach inflammation or liver, like hepatitis. And also, there's a scar in between the eyebrow, so maybe he has had very serious problem, maybe in her heart, and also her eyelids are quite gloomy. This is even more serious. So her problem is more on the liver part. And this person also quite problematic. So on this nose, Joyce and Christine, you can see the whole face has a very strange red color, and her so they're like mixed with bluish color and white color and red colors mixed on different part of the body. And however, on the nose liver area, it's kind of bumpy, but there's also a bluish belt on the nose, as if there's a blue ring on the nose. And the also the liver area is kind of dented. And also, if you look at her sclera, the eye white, is also bluish. So in the liver, it indicates the liver has some some blockages there. It's like stuck there, something stuck there. And her skin color is very not very good. And these colors are like spreading all over the face. Yeah, it's like there are bruises. So if she doesn't have these problems, she has a very good shape of the organs. But when these problems are on the face and also on the forehead, there are two vertical lines on the upper forehead. They're very deep lines. So she's a very sensitive person. She always feels that there are lots of pressure from life. She just have that way of thinking. And so she would more likely to have dampness in the spleen and also something stuck in the liver. So she would be more depressive. And the more depressive she is, there will be some more things stuck in the liver. And when it develops, it can cause even cirrhosis or other liver disease. And look at her eyes. Around the eyes, the color is very dark. And look at the iris is also yellowish, even though, Chinese people usually, you think that the eyes are black, right? But if you look at Chinese people's eyes, it's a little bit, blackish brown. So for all Chinese people, their eyes are like this. But if the iris and pupil is quite yellowish, you can have suspicion about the liver. And also when the eye white or the sclera has other color, then it indicates some disease. It's a color of disease. And this old man, the whole face, you can see the color of the face is very dark. He must be at the last stage of liver cancer. He must have already passed away a long time ago. The whole face is very dark, and there is some very strange yellow color on the cheekbone, and also on the eye white, the sclera, you can see it's very yellow, and there's some blood veins, red veins, and on the side of the cheekbone, there's some like rice grain. Oh, can you see? There's a line from the cheekbone. There are lots of bumps. When you look at the pictures, you might ignore a lot of things, but I will not. So these are very important signs for illnesses. So you can see these small bumps. Yeah, so about the size of rice, yeah. Maybe you can just draw a line instead of a circle so everybody will see clearly. Yeah, don't draw the line right above these, bumps. Yeah, from there you can see all the bumps coming all the way down and all the way to the cheek. That's very problematic. It's very dangerous. And this old man, the heart area, can you see the very clear line on the heart area on the nose? And on the liver area, there are also a very visible line. Yes, he does. He did have a lot of wrinkles, but where the lines are, it has a lot to do with his health and, wealth and children and even belief. So they will show in the color and the shape of the lines or the location of the lines. So now you understand, right? So this person has blue eyes, but his eye white is completely yellow, and the whole skin is jaundice. And you can see the skin is very yellow and looks like the skin is very thin, as if it is very hard for him or her to open eyes. Just give me that feeling. So it's very serious. And this one, let's look at the eye. The upper eyelid and the lower eyelid, the color is too dark. This is unhealthy. And also under the iris, there's a very very obvious like red vein or red line. So these are all liver problem. And also the sclera is so yellow. It's almost like egg yolk. And maybe he's Western people, so the eyes doesn't have any light. So when the eyes doesn't have light, his vital energy is almost depleted because of the illness. And so in the eyes, when there's yellow, red, brown, or any dots or marks or foggy, these all indicates illnesses. Oh, this eye has such a big mark. On the sclera, it's first of all the sclera is bluish, and there are the red veins, and also there's a big brown mark. It actually occupies 1/3 of the whole side of the eye. So this blackish and brownish mark is very serious color, very dark color. And look at this one, the eye white. You can see this bluish dot, and also this hook of death, you can see. Because our eyes indicate our liver. So when your liver has some problem, maybe, I said maybe, so when doctors diagnose, this is included. Maybe you can have eye itchiness or dry eyes, or maybe discomfort of the eyes, or maybe the vision suddenly becomes blurry, and including all these dots and marks in the eyes. And another symptom a lot of our friends would ignore. Okay, let me see if you like to hear these. According to today's rule, if you like what I say, if you like what I teach, or then you should like and share and leave comments. So the good thing is that every time you will receive every notification of the live stream. Everything that I teach is like, everything is very critical. It's up to whether you can learn it. Yeah, if you truly learn something and I really teach well, then please click like, the thumbs up. So, Christine, what is the benefit of clicking the like? Well, if we click on the like, it means that this video is very popular, is liked by a lot of people. And so when the number of likes are very high, then YouTube will share automatically. Well, actually, they have the rheumatism. And so they will calculate and see if there are say for example 1,000 people like it, so they think that this is very welcomed and popular, so YouTube will recommend this video on this topic, then they will recommend a more popular video to more people. So it doesn't matter if you like it. Well, you should, Joy said, if you click on like, then there will be more people, being able to hear this video. And even better is to download the Grandmaster app. Then it's very easy to use. You like it? Oh, it looks like a lot of people say you like it. What should I say? Continue. Let's continue to talk about the issues of the liver. So every sentence that I teach today, you should review at least 10 times. Otherwise, you're wasting this teaching. If you do not want to waste it, then you should listen 10 times, and then it will be imprinted in your mind. And you don't even need to write notes. And then when you see some people, you will immediately know whether he has liver problem or heart problem or even spleen or stomach problem. And it's just one sentence. Yeah, just one point is like the key. Yeah, I always wanted to do something so that my master would teach me. Well, I know my master liked me. So but however, if you want to learn from a fortune teller or facial reader, they would say, no, don't come here to learn. It's very difficult to learn from them, because if he tells you just that one sentence, you will know it. And so I just feel like this is a good thing. I want everybody to learn it. So what I like is that you can prevent serious things to happen. It doesn't matter whether you have this already. If you look in the mirror or take pictures and you found that you have these signs, don't panic. Tomorrow, I'll give you solutions. If you don't have, you also need to be careful, especially overweight people. You need to be even more careful. Well, thin people, tomorrow actually I will talk about that. It doesn't mean that you don't have problem. For a whole life, if we can safely live to 60, it's not easy. After 60 years old, it's not easy again, because our health may go downhill, and then illnesses might go to find you. There are lots of things waiting to share with you. Okay, so in addition to the face, let's look at the hands, the palm. So let's look at the picture. This is called liver palm. Liver palm. So now look carefully. The liver palm, you think, oh, this palm is very red. It's actually, isn't it a sign of good fortune? Actually, even there's a small difference. It can be completely different. Yeah. The liver palm, this red, almost feels like it's been ironed. Yeah. So this red, compared to the healthy red, it just has a very slight difference. If you cannot recognize, you would think, oh, this is good color. You might think the complexion is good. And yeah. And before we talked about the 5 mountains on the palm. Yeah, only the center of the palm seems to have a very normal color, but the 5 mountain area seems to be very red. In the medical field, they call this liver palm. So it's actually mostly on the thinner eminence and the hypothinner eminence. When it's very red, this is liver palm. Usually liver palm, usually what kind of disease would show this sign? It would be chronic liver disease or hepatocirrhosis. Isn't it terrible? So this is on the palms. Next, let's learn another sign, which is called spider angina. What is that called? The spider angina. So this can be on the face or the chest or the On this picture, this person actually had a lot of them on the upper body. So angioma. So this can indicate hepatocirrhosis. It's just like the liver palm. It indicates hepatocirrhosis. It's called spinal angioma. And next, on the skin, it can be yellow or jaundice. So this yellow color, especially the eye white, the sclera, you might feel, oh, it's so yellow, right? But I also suspect that this is just maybe the later state of hepatitis. Or it can be the jaundice hepatitis, which is acute hepatitis. In maybe 24 hours or 48 hours of hepatitis, which is called jaundice hepatitis, they can have the whole body is very yellow. But in the hospital, they have they have some ways to deal with it quickly. But all liver disease, people's skin and their eyes would be turning yellow. If it's serious, it would be very dark yellow, just like the old man we showed you the picture before. His yellow is almost not yellow. It's like blackish yellow. It's already too late. Nobody can save him. It's like this one. Like this old man. When this appears, nobody can help him. So we know how serious it is. So we need to find every way to solve the problem. And we also need to learn to check ourselves and our family and friends. When these things appears, we then can learn to solve the problem. When we go to the doctor, a dilemma is that it's like a scientific superstition. Well, you think science and superstition is very, it's on the opposite side, right? I think in the United States, there's a religion called science religion, because their belief is very rigid and it's not like natural science anymore. So human beings are like this under the Western medical science. Even if you have disease, you have to wait to do, X-rays or MRIs, and they have to actually be able to detect the tumor and even detect many times that there is a tumor there. If you see some signs, and that's the potential risk, and it's still in the state of qi, and it's starting to gather and form. So, say for example, the rain. Rain comes from the cloud. This water comes from the cloud, and before the cloud, what is the shape of those water? So they're vapor, right? So vapor, are they ice? No, they're just vapor. We cannot even see, right? And even the vapor goes through our body, we don't even feel, right? But when it goes to the very high sky, and it's cold up there, right? And in about 20 meters area, when there are too much water, and they will form clouds, and then the cloud will not turn into rain until the cloud becomes very dark, because there are too much water, and so it turns into rain. And if it's even colder, water can turn into ice, right? So now we understand when something, if it evaporates, we don't see anything, right? The tumor is the same. Before you didn't have the tumor. Say for example, the liver disease. Before there was no tumor. When you found it, the liver has already had necrosis, and then the patient would be very sad. Why? Before the liver cancer, nobody would tell him or her that there is this liver problem. It's because a lot of the doctors, sometimes even Chinese doctors, some very good Chinese doctors, because they can look at you and look at your eyes and smell and then the Chinese doctor would be able to see some signs of liver cancer. But he would say, why don't you go and do a complete medical check? Well, they feel like they need to have some scientific proof. If they go and do the medical check, well, we would be able to see that it will definitely have some liver, maybe tumor or disease. But in the medical check, there's no tumor and no illnesses. Then Christine said, in a medical checkup, there's a condition. Maybe on that day, that month, that year, it hasn't been formed into a tumor. But very unfortunately, when the doctor has already confirmed that this is a tumor, then there's no way to save this person. Usually, within 3 years, they would have to leave the world. So that reminds me the story about Bian Que, the famous ancient doctor to see the king of Cai. And yeah, Bian Que was a very, very famous doctor. He had ability, maybe like me or even better than me. He was able to just look at the king of Cai and see the disease, potential disease. And so he told the king of Cai, you have some problem in the future. It could develop into serious disease. Right now, if you just have some, suggested diet, then maybe after 108 days, you'll be fine. But the king of Cai thought, what a joke. Yesterday, I even got the first prize in racing the horse. And when I was fighting, I could fight 3 people at the same time. And I can eat a lot. Look at my complexion. Look. Yeah, and see how much force I have. Yeah. So he himself felt like he has no symptoms, and he was very young, in the middle age, only 45 years old. And yeah, as a king, of course, he can have many doctors and he can have as many nutrition as he wants. And so he felt that this is just a joke. But everybody knows that at the second time, this Dr. Bianque was left because, and the last time when Dr. Bianque said, well, I can give you some medicine. Maybe it shouldn't be a very serious problem. You'll still be saved. However, is the king very smart? Well, usually the kings are very smart. And then the king thought, I'm so strong, like an ox. I'm very wise and I'm so wealthy. I have the whole country. I didn't feel anything. I didn't have any discomfort. These small issues are just common for everyone, but I actually protect myself even better than others. Well, he thought he doesn't have any disease, most importantly because he didn't feel any symptoms. Well, you see, are there any bleeding? There's no liver marks, no blood veins, and yeah, and he has very strong muscles, very straight back, and he can eat a lot, and he could fight a lot of people. Everybody was afraid of him, and so he said, look, I'm actually a very open-minded people. Usually, I would kill those people who cheat me. I actually allow in this world to have different sayings. Well, just go away. I'll just give you a little bit of money and let's just go away. Actually, your fame was through cheating. Actually, Bianque explained to him and said, actually, my master, actually, they heal people when they haven't got the disease, and then you just need to eat some maybe, radish and potatoes or something, and then before the illnesses are already there, they can already heal them. And so they're not like me. I'm already cured. I have to try to heal people who are already in very serious disease. But the king didn't listen to him at all. And so the king said, well, don't say anything, otherwise I'll kill you. So this doctor, after he left the palace, he left the country because he knew that after 6 months, the king's disease will manifest, and then it would be the last stage of cancer, maybe. And then so they would have to change the king. When he was very seriously ill, all his doctors, none of his doctors would be able to cure him. But at the time when he already, all the symptoms are arrived, then I won't even have any ways to help him. So this famous doctor went to a different country, another country, to hide in another country. So this was a very good example. So today's people, when you think that there are diseases, you have to find a machine to prove it. Well, it's not the fault of the machine. Maybe you go to check and, oh no, this fatty liver is extremely beyond the normal. Yeah, so like Chen Weixing from Taiwan, like there were three numbers, like far exceeding the normal number. And well, it's actually hepatocirrhosis, because the symptom actually already is showing. He was lucky that he actually encountered Energy Bagua, and So you can see these numbers. The red ones are before, and the green one was after he walked Energy Bagua. And so people who, yeah, a lot of times it could be like 30 times more or 100 times more. So this will become an actual physical disease. It was good that he came early and he practiced well and changed his diet and habit. So the disease was kind of reversed. So, most people, when they have discomfort, and then they will go to see a doctor, and then the doctor would just say, oh, maybe you're just, they will check with the machine, and then they will say, oh, maybe you're just tired. Maybe there are some marks on the face, and maybe the color of the eyes are not right. And then say, oh, maybe you're just tired. You should relax and eat something well. Maybe you're fine. Why? Because the scientific machine or the equipment didn't find anything. But remember, when the scientific equipment can find something, then you would have to have a sharp stop. And then it's like someone fell into the ocean, and then you want to catch everything that can save your life. And before you don't believe in anything, and now you will believe in everything that can save your life. Actually, there was a military officer didn't believe in anything, and now he was sick, so he said, oh, whatever can cure, I will believe everything. So he was a national level military officer. He was just like that. When illness actually come to catch you, it's not like whether you believe or not. It's just whatever can work, you will do it. Yeah. So for Bian Que's story, we actually feel pity for the king of Cai. Because Bian Que wanted to save king of Cai's life. And so even before everybody can feel it, but this exceptionally outstanding doctor was able to see that he tried to save his life. However, because of our perception is too ignorant, and when there is no symptom, then he didn't believe. And even today's medical science, if they haven't seen some proved visible tumors or whatever signs, then they were not diagnosed, or they were not even say anything. So whenever there's a confirmed cases, it's already at the middle stage or even the later stage, because they have never done any preventive cure. So today, Grandmaster is so compassionate to teach everyone to read the signs. So we need to learn to be able to read. When the disease haven't reached to the latest part, at least we can read some early signs to be able to prevent, and so we will not be like the king of Cai, and we can prevent a tragedy to happen. And so our older generations, including us, are very diligent, work very hard, and they would handle all the discomfort. And so if they haven't reached the state of very painful, they wouldn't even go to see a doctor. And so when you talk about tolerance, and so they can tolerate pain, they can tolerate fatigue, they can tolerate emotions, so Grandmaster said. Grandmaster continues to say, actually, the liver doesn't have any pain nerves unless it is the last stage of liver cancer. It would be extremely painful. For the normal liver disease, the liver will not send any pain signals. But when you actually feel the pain, nobody can cure you, nobody can save you. So liver is an organ that is most tolerable in all of these internal organs. And another sign of liver disease is the smell of the mouth, stinky smell. Yeah, so people with liver disease, they have such kind of stinky smell. So in the ancient doctors, they would describe as like rotten mouth smell, because your liver and spleen are not working. When the food goes in, they start to rot and get rotten, and so become very strange. And so the food, when they excrete, they're actually toxic. And because you haven't had very healthy digestion. Usually healthy people, their mouth doesn't have any smell. And very healthy people, their mouth would have a even sweet smell, or they would have no smell or even sweet smell. So if you chant with me, then your body will emit some fragrant smell. Your mouth would, feel sweet and have very sweet smell. But those people with serious liver disease, they will have a very stinky smell, like rotten mouth. And another sign which show on the nails, the nail signs can indicate different kind of disease. But if we see that, we need to be careful. If you see that those lines on the nails are very visible, so usually you shouldn't have those lines, vertical lines. But if they have hepatitis, then this line will have some black or dark color. Look at this nail. One line has a dark line, like one or two lines, or there's some kind of dirty lines. Then this is quite terrible, because the hepatitis has already been formed. And also they could have fatigue, and maybe they can have abdominal pain or swelling, and so they feel very big belly, like swelling, and they also feel nauseated, and they want to vomit. They always feel sick, and they won't have good appetite, because the whole digestion system is stuck or sick, and so it's not smooth, and therefore you don't have appetite. And also the urines will be yellowish and also has very stinky color. The excretion could also have very terrible stinky smell, and could also cause constipation. And it's also maybe they can have because they don't have the clot factors. It's very likely to have bruise on the under the skin, because so this can cause this will be called the liver bruise. There's the liver mark, and this is liver bruise. So when there's the liver bruise, and if you go to the doctors, I don't know if you can actually find something with the scientific equipment. So So this is about it, about all the.
Master, there's a question from our online friend. When Master talked about the spots on the face, what if it's an age spot? Age spots will show up everywhere. What if it shows up on the places where it indicates liver? Does it actually indicate a liver problem? How do we know? How do we distinguish it? Some of these issues does not indicate illness. When you have these age spot, it actually shows degeneration of all your bodily functions. It's actually a healthy indicator. It indicates that you are healthy as a advanced age person. And if you don't have any age spots, you better not get ill, because when you suddenly get ill, you might not be able to get up again. And so actually having these age spots actually indicates longevity. Then how do we distinguish whether this spot indicates illness? Also, people have age spots. Their overall complexion is actually very beautiful. Your complexion is normal, healthy, and also your complexion depends on your ethnicity. For Asians, for Chinese people, our complexion is yellowish white, and it has a little bit of redness and oily complexion, and that is a normal, healthy complexion for advanced age, for elderlies, and that's normal. Some people also they have age spots, but their nose are red and there's some brown dark spots in their eye whites. So if it's actual age spots, healthy age spots, then it's clear, it's bright. And also there are some age spots, but your skin is still bright, and that indicates good health, and that's the real age spots. So that's my understanding of the age spots. There's another type of spots. Some women, when they're pregnant, after a few months, they will also develop these spots. I know that when people get pregnant, their hormones, estrogens starts to change, and that's why they have these spots. That's not explaining too much about that. But when a woman is pregnant, all your essence, all your nutrients is sent to your baby. And because your natural metabolism has been changed due to the pregnancy, for it's like a stream has changed its course of flow, and so one piece of land does not get irrigated by the water. However, after you give birth, very quickly the pregnancy spots will disappear. But some people, if they don't, after giving birth, if they still have bad emotions, then that pregnancy spots will stay for many years. It's not simply about pregnancy. It's because after they give birth, it brings some other illnesses to them. That's why these pregnancy spots doesn't disappear even after giving birth. Another friend said that when they go under the sun and they don't use sunscreen or wear a hat, then they will have spots on their face. This type of spots, how does it compare to spots that indicate illness? I know some people who love outdoor exercises say that if you are a Caucasian or an Asian, you all have your natural skin color, right? And even though you have been under the sun, you will be tanned, but you can still see that it's healthy skin because the skin is tight. And also your skin is tight, it's still bright. And that brightness shows healthy complexion. And also there is some sunspots on it, it's okay. However, 20 years ago, do you remember about the dentist who was hunting and his teeth exploded? And there's another doctor who specializes in dermatology, and he said that he had a lot of patients with skin cancer. And how do you say what is skin cancer? Many teenagers, for example, boys who loves to play soccer and girls likes to play beach volleyball, they love to exercise and they run around outdoors a lot. Many girls loves to be beautiful, right? But when in their teenage age, they're just running around outside and their skin is tanned, but you can still feel that useful energy from them. Although they're tanned, it's not an illness. However, some dermatologists, they will say that many children, after being in the sun a lot, they will say that all that spots on their hand, arms, and chest, they will say that these sunspots are skin cancer. Also, it's skin cancer, but people will not die from it, and they will give some medication and drugs. Sometimes I feel, I'm curious. And this doctor, this is a specialist doctor that I know. And I want to remind you that when we are going under the sun, remember to wear a hat to block the sun ray. And I actually want to design a hat for our Energy Bagua practitioners so that it has a wide rim and a face covering so that it covers your face and leaves but we can see your eyes. Some hats, we can also have like a veil in front of the eyes too. I actually give this type of hat to our friend, a person who works Energy Bagua in Vancouver. At first, she felt it was weird, but then she kept on using it. Like so many ladies asked her where she got it, and everyone wanted one. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. When you're under the sun, do you want to enjoy the sunshine? Does the sun bring you some sort of nutrient, health? Should you be in the sun? Yes, of course, because for children, we want them to go under the sun because it helps them to absorb calcium. But we just have to control how much we are under the sun. If you are walking under the sun for 1 to 2 hours every day, it's okay. It's different from if you are just if you are standing under the sun under some sort of punishment. And also, if you are under the sun for over 6 hours every day, then you need to be careful and wear sunscreen. Many gardeners and farmers, many people wear these type of hats. We saw the ginger farmer who wear this type of hats. And also in Taiwan and Korea, many farmers, they don't look like farmers, they look like beekeepers because they cover their body, their arms, their head. And many decades ago in China, these farmers, they don't wear any protection, and they just work in the field without wearing any protection. And I think you need to be in the sun adequately. If we don't go under the sun, then there could be fungus or mildew that is growing in our body. And because we can't always bathe in the sun, so you have to dry your clothes under the sun, because it's different from drying your clothes in the dryer. How many things are in the sun ray? There are a lot of things. Some people will say vitamin A or vitamin C. It's incomplete. It's not wise to answer that way. It's actually we don't know how many nutrients are under the sun. It must be more than 10. You know that if the sun shines on your clothing or your duvet for several hours, it smells very fragrant. But if you dry it in the dryer, it doesn't smell that good. And if you dry it in just in the room, dry it in the shade, it doesn't smell like the sun. And what is that smell? What is that fragrance? Not only that the sun has eliminated the toxin on your clothing, on your duvet, but they have transformed it into something good. So when you wear this clothes, you feel happy. And also, it's the same for human beings. We have to be under the sun. Some people is asking that when they are young, from their childhood, they naturally have these spots. What are these? Master says that these spots actually indicate some sort of illness. I should say that it's liver and spleen spots, because it's a disharmony between the liver and spleen. Say that if you were born with a birth defect and you can't walk, is it a disability? It is. And why were you born with these spots? Maybe you're born with hereditary liver and spleen issues. It's not that when you are born with it, you are healthy. There are many birth defects. There's heart illnesses, blood illnesses, your skin color, and the shape of your hands. It's all hereditary. Many types of illnesses, many liver illness come from your genes, especially in Taiwan and Guangdong region, because in the past they consume a lot of plants and animals from the water, and so some Guangdong Cantonese people, they are born with some sort of bacteria or microbial things in their blood, in their genes. And so many types of plants that grows in the water, and also a type of lingjiao, and also lotus root, and shrimps and fish, crabs. Crabs actually eat the decayed material in the water, and also snails. Snails are found in the mud, and also these type of shelled animals. Crabs eat a lot of decayed animal parts. And so if you like to eat these things, then it could cause you trouble. Master, we talked about many type of how liver illnesses occur. say if the first generation ate some sort of these food that are unhealthy and they eat it raw, many people from the Canton region will eat these fish and shrimps and meat raw. And if you always eat these raw, then there are many unimaginable illnesses that could occur, and also many type of plants like a Chinese water chestnut. It could cause many illnesses and bacterial infections too, and also hereditary issues. For example, hepatitis virus. It can, if the mother carries this type of hepatitis virus during pregnancy, you can pass this virus to your infant. And right now, the medicine is very advanced, and so within the birth of your infant, if you have a hepatitis virus vaccine, then it could stop any infection from this virus. There is a virus, hepatitis virus A, B, C, D, and it doesn't show up very frequently. But once if it shows up and it's cured, then it doesn't infect or transmit to other people. But hepatitis C and another type of hepatitis becomes transmissive and it will be infect other people. If some people have hepatitis C and if it wasn't treated immediately, then it becomes chronic hepatitis and you will have it for all your life. And if you live with your family, you can also transmitted to your family members. Why is this virus is very annoying? Because you cannot recover from it, and even worse, it have serious prognosis, causing liver fibrosis and cirrhosis and even liver cancer. So let's not talk about how transmissive it is for now. But I want to remind our online friends, say that in China, when we're all eating together on the same table, if we don't use a shared some people will use their own chopstick to pick up food from the dish, and so if one person is a virus carrier, and if that virus is active when we were eating together, then that person could transmit hepatitis virus to everyone who was eating together. And so it's difficult to treat this illness, so we have to prevent it. We have to protect ourselves from it. So don't eat so many raw food and these type of water-based plants and animals, and maybe cook them well before eating it. And also, don't stick your own chopstick into the dishes and use and also, if the mother have this type of virus, and if you should have a vaccine so that you don't pass this virus on to your children. Master, I want to continue to talk about why there are liver illnesses. We talked about a virus infection and food, and also environmental causes. Say that if you live in an area that have a refinery, chemical plant, or air pollution, when these toxins enter your body, your liver cannot tolerate it anymore, and it will cause liver illnesses. So we should choose a good environment to live in. Another cause is drug-induced. When what Master was teaching earlier, many people left messages. They say that some people have taken steroids, and some people took traditional Chinese medicine, and afterward they had liver illness. And so any medicine is 30% poison, and so we should have a healthy diet so that we can avoid taking avoid taking unnecessary drugs. And also another cause of liver illness is emotions. Traditional Chinese medicine say that angriness harms the liver. Some people have already mentioned that after learning meditation from Master, they have better emotion and they don't get angry very often. They are more calm and they are more tolerant, and so they don't feel angry, and then they can protect their liver. Master, I want to remind something else is about drinking. Many people drink a lot because they drink too much that these alcohol harms their liver. It's like that Mr. Chen from Taiwan. So many people, their liver is harmed by drinking alcohol. We talked about the epidemiology of liver. So liver illnesses in America, there's fewer liver illnesses. However, for middle-aged people, liver illnesses caused by alcohol increases every year. So drinking alcohol could cause liver inflammation. Can anyone talk about what is the function of liver? I can do that. Jujin says, so the liver is a very important organ. It is part of our digestive system, and it has several functions. First, it is a primary filtration system, so it removes toxins from drugs, from our food. It removes these. So the liver converts toxins into waste products so that it can be so the good things can be absorbed and the waste can be eliminated. So sometimes at night, so the liver works around midnight from 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. So if you are staying up during these hours, then the liver cannot metabolize very well, efficiently. And so that's why on the next day, your complexion is not very beautiful. So, and the second function is metabolism. It's like a large chemical plant. No matter all the food that we eat, all the greens, the vegetables, fruits, meats, fish, when you eat it, when you eat these, say if you say pork, that pork has to be digested, and we need to absorb these protein, fat, vitamin, sugar, minerals, and the liver will extract these nutrients, and through the blood flow, it will send these nutrients to our muscles, to our bones, so that we can absorb these nutrients. Another thing is digestion. So the liver actually make and release bile, and that bile is released into the digestive tract to help with digestion. Another function is immune responses. If you say that a person has very strong immune responses, they don't easily get sick. So if the temperature suddenly drops, they don't get a cold. And when the COVID came, some people, if they have a very strong response, they don't fall sick from it. And liver is one of the very important organ of the immune system. And if the liver can function very well, he will battle these viruses and microbials and get rid of them. And also, if the liver is very tired and it cannot metabolize the proteins, cannot fight the bad things, then it will cause cardiovascular issues. If it cannot metabolize sugar, it will cause diabetic issues. And so the liver detoxifies. It's part of the digestive system and immune system. So it's very important, and we have to protect our liver. So that's a function of liver. That's the general functions of liver. Any other things we should talk about? So we know that the most common liver illnesses that we hear about is hepatitis C. If there's hepatitis C, is there hepatitis A? Yes, there is. Usually hepatitis A is acute. So hepatitis A, B, C, D, and E. So there's 5 types of hepatitis that's caused by virus. So these type of viruses, it does not include liver's fibrosis. So what is fatty liver? Can you talk about that? So fatty liver, it occurs very, we hear about it often. Some people might think that fatty liver is that there's a layer of fat outside of the liver. It's actually more fat deposit inside the liver cell. Usually, that's on the left is a normal liver, and on the right is a fatty liver. So in the fatty liver, there is a lot of fat deposit in the liver cell, and so there are less normal liver cells, and they will decrease liver cell function. In a normal liver, there's 3 to 4% fat, and that's normal. If there's more than 5% fat by weight, then we can call that a fatty liver. And of course, there's different types of fatty liver. 5 to 10% fat is mild fatty liver. 11 to 25% is mild fatty liver, and 26 to 50% fat is severe fatty liver. And that percentage is by weight. So liver is a very hard-working organ. When it's painful, it doesn't tell you. And so at the beginning, when the fatty liver just started, we usually were not aware of it. And as it progresses, there will be liver inflammation, so hepatitis, and then it could progress into liver cirrhosis and liver cancer. And so the fatty liver is the initial stage of liver illness. And at this stage, we want to reverse it. And fatty liver can be reversed. It could become a normal liver, but it could also become liver cirrhosis. If we don't do anything, it could cause inflammation, liver cirrhosis, and liver cancer. I met many gentlemen they told me about their diagnosis, what type of illness they have. They say that I just have a little illness, it's fatty liver, it doesn't matter. It's not very severe. But when the percentage of fat is very high, it could transform into liver cirrhosis or liver cancer. When there's a lot of fatty liver, that fat will also enter the bloodstream and cause high blood lipid and cause stroke and other cardiovascular illnesses and kidney illnesses too. And that's why we have to take it seriously. So is fatty liver caused by eating too much fat in our diet? If you eat more than what your body needs, then what happens? The liver has nothing else to do but to store it temporarily. And fatty liver also affects your complexion, how beautiful your skin is. So fatty liver is different than these liver spots. It's like a 3D liver spot. So it will have these, you will have like little like pieces of little pieces spots of like a fat granules. But some people, some doctors might not say it's fat. They will say that it's some sort of microbial things. And so that's a general introduction about fatty liver. At the beginning, we talked about liver illness and how it is spread globally. And fatty liver is even more. So globally, it's 25 to 30% of the population has fatty liver, and this percentage is even higher in some regions. Usually, a less developed region will have less fatty liver, but even a lean person will have fatty liver. Fatty liver has nothing to do with your physique. It's it's how much nutrient you have taken in. I've heard, and people have asked me, I am a vegetarian. I've been eating vegetarian food for 3 years. How come I have fatty liver? Fatty liver could have formed before you start a vegetarian diet. Even if you don't eat any meat, would you develop fatty liver? Yes, I've read a research, and there was these monks in China who went for a health checkup. They are all vegetarians, and out of 30, 15 of the monks have fatty liver. If they didn't eat any meat, how did they develop fatty liver? Maybe they had too much plant fat, because vegetable fat, there's also good and bad vegetable fat. Maybe the good ones is beneficial and the bad ones could harm your health. We talked about when we were talking about cardiovascular illnesses, we introduced many types of good vegetables, and we reminded everyone that even though you're eating these healthy food, you can't fry them. Say that you're cooking eggplant, you say that it's vegetarian, and I love to eat it, and I frequently eat it, but I fry it every time. Then your body will absorb too much oil, too much. And also, if you eat a lot of tofu or mushrooms, and if they are deep fried, then you will consume too much vegetable oil. And also, if your diet is not balanced, if you don't consume enough plant protein, but you eat a lot of carbohydrates like white flour or white rice, if you eat too much of these and your body doesn't need it, in these foods there's a lot of carbohydrates, and these carbohydrates, after it's digested, it's sent to the liver and it's metabolized into sugar and it's stored in the liver, and that sugar could be transformed into lipids. And so after eating these grains, when your body doesn't need so much carbohydrate and so much glucose, it is stored and then transformed into lipid. And so many people who are vegetarians, you have to be careful about it. Don't eat so much grains. Don't eat grains or carbohydrates excessively. Not only does it cause high blood sugar, but it also causes fatty liver. And so Master has always promoted the concept of eating until you're 80% full, and that's very important. Master says, so now we've got a little understanding of liver illnesses, and maybe we will be able to discover these issues from our outer appearance. If on your facial feature there is one thing that corresponds to liver illnesses, starts to change your diet and self-cultivate. Why? Look at our student sharings. Hello everyone, my name is JinBodhi. I'm a businessman. I export clothing to China and Japan. I also had a business, sauna business in the Gangnam district. 10 years ago, due to business bankruptcy, I had a heart attack and fainted. Afterwards, I've been taking heart medications. These medications have side effects. The doctor found that I had fatty liver and liver cirrhosis. Liver cirrhosis is difficult to cure, and because it's not at a severe stage where there's medication for it, the doctor said to come back in 3 months and he'll decide then. Started working Energy Bagua in August 2019. After I started working Energy Bagua, I had medical checkups every 3 months. Every time, the results showed that the liver cirrhosis did not get any worse. I went for another checkup in April this year. The doctor said that the liver indexes are back to normal. I'm already very content with my liver not deteriorating. When the doctor said it's back to normal, I was so surprised. I've tried many exercises, and Energy Bagua is the most effective. I'm truly grateful to Grandmaster JinBodhi for teaching such a good practice so that I can regain a healthy life. Thank you very much. After practicing Energy Bagua, liver indexes are normal and have strong steps. So this is a student from South Korea. Because he had heart issues, he took heart medications, and the side effects injured the liver, and so it's a liver illness that's induced by drug. And so from fatty liver, he had liver cirrhosis, and he completely reversed it. Congratulations. Let's watch another one. Hello, I'm Chen Wei-xin from Jiayi, Taiwan. Yes, I was drinking. I've been drinking for more than 20 years. I started as a social drinker. Later I became an alcohol abuser. Sometimes I drink till late at night or till the next day. My health deteriorated. My cholesterol reading was about 400. My triglyceride level was over 1800. Liver function index, SGOT, 106. SGPT, 101. I also suffer from autonomic dysfunction. My hands were shaking like this when I came here for the first time. I couldn't even use chopsticks very well. For now, I work in the morning and come here for my Energy Bagua practice in the afternoon. I've been practicing for about 5 months now. His mother said his hands aren't shaking anymore. He's using the chopsticks like normal now. He's become less hot-headed. After practicing for 3 months, the readings have returned to normal. The doctor said that for a Taiwanese, these values are normal. My triglyceride level was 1800 in September 2019. It's now 158 in March 2020. My cholesterol reading is 201 now. My liver index function reads SGOT 57, SGPT 45. After practicing Energy Bagua, quit drinking after 20 years. So this is Chen Wei-xin from Jiayi, Taiwan. He had been drinking for over 20 years, and it severely affected his liver function, and that's why you see these readings are 10 times more than normal, and his hands are shaking, and he can't even use a chopstick. After learning Energy Bagua within 3 months, almost all these indexes are back to normal, and he can go back to a healthy life. Congratulations, I'm so happy. Congratulations to Chen Wei-xin. I see many people leaving messages. There are many other illnesses that, Master, I want to share one. Rina said, "Dear Master, my husband passed away from liver cancer. I think I had it too, and I have these dark vertical lines on my nails. But the doctor said that I was infected with the virus, but it's been healed. Also, I didn't have any treatment for it. I was just walking Energy Bagua all the time. When I hear this sharing, I feel she's so lucky through practicing Energy Bagua. She was able to heal herself. She didn't mention how long she was walking. That's okay. Let me give her a gift. Congratulations. I want to give her this green one. Green. The color green nourishes the liver. It clears, purifies the liver and brightens the eyes. When you wear this green bracelet, it will help you to, it will work miracles. It will be very auspicious. Anything else? Wendy Lee said, "My mom's fatty liver healed completely through walking Energy Bagua. A gift for you." So this is one that's just commented by our online friend. I trust that she's not lying. Oh, she also said that her triglyceride level is normal. Her complexion is brighter and all the dark spots are gone. Congratulations. And so this green gemstone bracelet. May your mom be healthy and have longevity. Lu Fenglin says, "Thank you, Master. I had liver spots on my face for many years and I couldn't get rid of them. After practicing Master's methods, it's 80% lighter now." A gift for Lu Fenglin, also this chalcedony bracelet for you. May you be auspicious. And Mr. Longjie said he had stomach issues, and because he took stomach medication, it harmed his liver, and he couldn't eat any rice, any chives, and his facial complexion is very yellow. He would wake up every night at 2 a.m. He is afraid of a severe illness, and he doesn't dare to go to the hospital for checkup. And last year, he started to practice walking Energy Bagua. And after walking for 6 months, everything's healed, and he can eat rice. He can eat 2 bowls of rice at one time. Congratulations. Here's a gift for you. May you have good health, auspiciousness, and longevity. Anything else? Any more you want to share? There's one person who he had a question. This is a good question. He said, we shared about liver hands. She took steroid medication for a very long time, and she developed these liver palms. But in medical checkups, her liver function indexes are still normal. So how do we transform this liver palm issue? So we talked about balanced and healthy diet. We talked about how these monks, they are vegetarians, but when they go to checkups, they had fatty liver too. And so that's why you have to have a balanced and healthy diet. Come and practice Energy Bagua too. I trust that this liver palm, I think this liver palm will definitely disappear. Probably after 1 month, it will disappear. Some people have great results. So this is very good. I will give you a gift. Also, it's just a question, and I want to give you a blessing. May you regain good health very soon. I'm waiting for your good news. We talked about hepatitis B. 2 people shared that their hepatitis B healed. Xu Yuling said that I was positive for hepatitis B, and after Grandmaster's blessing, it was negative now. And also, Haining said that after practicing meditation, his hepatitis B turned negative. And Changjin also said, can we give some gift first? It's similar. This one also said that his hepatitis virus healed, and he also have antibody for hepatitis B now. So we have to remind them that they have to continue to practice. Practicing master's methods have great effects. So what are their names? Who shared? Xu Yuling. Xu Yuling shared the story about Haining. So Haining's hepatitis B turned negative. The gift should be given to Haining. Why don't we give it to both of them? Haining and Xu Yuling. May you have good health and longevity. You have such good results. Share more. May Buddha and Bodhisattva protect you. Thank you, Master. And the second sharing is from Jin Changjing. So we actually the 2 person who received the gift, it's actually 1 sharing, and there's another sharing for Jin Changjing. May Jin Changjing have good health, longevity, and auspiciousness. So why do I have these green and blue bracelets in front of me? Because our liver, if we want to remove liver illnesses, you eat green food, wear green colored jewelries, because it cleanses the liver. Also, so fatty liver and liver cirrhosis are all liver illnesses, and green, the color green, nourishes the liver. And also these green jade, these green jade pendants, and also these these green type of gemstones all have these type of function. And so these turquoise and also these other green colored gemstones can nourish the liver. There's another sharing. Jin Yuran said that my sister-in-law has diabetes. After working Energy Bagua for 3 months, he stopped taking medication for high blood sugar and high blood pressure. And so those two are all normal, and also fatty liver is back to normal. So this is a great good sharing. So it's a sharing from Yiran. So Yiran shared the effect of her sister-in-law. Should I give to two? Give two to two people for Yiran and Yiran's. Sorry, it's not her sister-in-law. It's her brother-in-law. And may Yiran and her brother-in-law live until they're 100. Anna Liu said, from when I was young, I had these fat granules below my eyes. And after working Energy Bagua for a year and a half, my skin is smooth and the fat granules beneath my eyes are gone. So this is the last sharing, okay? So this is for Anna. Congratulations, Anna. After working Energy Bagua, the fat granules under the eyes are gone. May you be healthy and live a long life. So today, we talked about from our outer appearance, we can discover these liver illnesses. And listening to it just once, you wouldn't be able to learn everything. So rewatch it several times so that you can remember it clearly, so that you don't have to come back and check for it. If you really keep it in your mind, you have to watch it for 10 times. And so when you meet someone, when you look at their face, you know what their issue is. We learned about cardiovascular illness. Now we have learned about liver illnesses. None of these are, both of them are very severe. If we can see people with these illnesses, maybe we can save their life. If you see these signs on your own body, then you can go for a medical checkup. Even if the checkup doesn't find anything, don't be happy too soon. Remember to change your diet and your living habit. Come to a center and work Energy Bagua and start to have vegetarian diet, have a balanced vegetarian diet. I want to tell you about these mysterious signs because I want you to be able to live a long life so that you have less suffering from illnesses. And I think this is my responsibility, and it's my caring for you. Tomorrow, we will talk about the same topic. And we'll talk about some solutions to these issues. We'll do some general methods. And I welcome everyone to join me again at the same time. All right. I wish everyone good health and longevity. May your appearance be dignified. May you have happiness and joy. May you be able to connect with the divine. And if you want to do that, come and listen tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow. The live stream in tomorrow is North America time, Saturday, June 4th at 6 p.m. Time it is Sunday, June 5th at 9 a.m.
人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红遍里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，了解生命的真理，修行的意义。因为有了你，日子犹如彩虹般美丽。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我快乐了，我美丽了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。